Hey everybody, and welcome to the Get Speaking English Coffee and Crossword stream. My name is Axel, and while we wait for the stream to begin, let me quickly explain how this activity works and give you some information that will help you do it. So, during the stream, we will go through a crossword similar to the one you see on the screen right now. I'm going to guide the conversation by letting you know which question will work on when. I'm going to explain the question to you, maybe give you some definitions, and then I'm going to give you additional clues, other information, hints, maybe some images to help you figure out the answer with me. So, when you think you know an answer, go ahead and put it in the chat. You'll be able to participate on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. The addresses are all available on the screen. So don't be shy if you think you know an answer. Put it in the chat, and when I see a correct answer, I will add it on the board and we will fill out the crossword together that way. So before we begin though, there are a few important rules that you should know specifically about this stream so we could all have a good time. So my first major rule is no cheating. So don't use the internet unless I tell you to. So we could Google the answers if we want or use websites. We're not going to do that though. We're going to work together instead. So please do not use the internet unless I tell you to do so. Secondly, please follow the conversation. So for example, if we are talking about question number 3, don't start talking about question 19. Also, too, please be patient. We may take some detours along the way. I love to talk about additional vocabulary, phrases, other things that are related to what's in the crossword. So just please be patient. Try to stay with the group and don't ruin it for others. Finally, please be nice to one another. Like I said, you'll be able to participate on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, but let's create a nice, friendly learning environment where people feel like they can participate without judgment and have a good time. So those are my main rules for playing this game. Now I'm going to give you some additional information specifically about this crossword to help you complete it. So the first useful thing to know is that this is an American crossword. So that means that American spelling and vocabulary is going to be used. So you can see on the screen right now some differences between American and British spelling. There are many others. This is just a small sample of some of the differences. There are also differences in the choice of vocabulary, in some of the phrases, some of the slang is different. So usually this crossword uses American English. It's also worth knowing that any of the trivia is usually about the United States, so about American history, American geography. However, we won't need to know much trivia. Thankfully, the majority of the questions in this crossword are about language, they're about English, so we won't need to know a lot about trivia. It's also really helpful to know that the answers match the questions. So the answers will always use the same type of word and the same word form as the word in the question. So for example, if there is a plural in the question, there will be a plural in the answer. If there's an abbreviation in the question, there will be an abbreviation in the answer. So all of that is extremely helpful. Sometimes you will see me put little S's or EDs in places, and that's just good information for us to know to fill out the board faster. Keep that in mind too when you are answering, that your answer should always use the same type of word and the same word form as the question. Also, multiple word answers are okay in this crossword. So sometimes the answer could be a phrasal verb, maybe part of a common phrase or an idiom. part of a sentence. Some of the longer ones are titles of books, titles of movies. This crossword does not indicate when something is a multiple word answer. However, I am usually quick to spot them. Hello. Hey everybody. Hey, welcome. Welcome to the stream. Sorry I'm a little bit late. I always have like classes and stuff before this on Fridays. So Fridays are always a little bit crazy here. But I am happy to be here. Looking forward to checking out this crossword. So just like the little video said, we are going to do this crossword together. What's going to happen is I am going to direct the conversation. I am going to give you lots of little clues and hints and additional information to help you figure out what the answer is right along with me. When I see, if you think you know what the answer is, put it in the chat. Best place to play is on YouTube. Seems like that is there's less delay on YouTube. However, I'm also live right now on Facebook and on Twitch as well too. So if you would like to play at those locations, you can play as well. You just might be a little bit behind everybody else. So I definitely recommend playing on YouTube. Yeah, so don't be shy if you think you know what an answer is. Put it into the chat. Yeah, and then when I see an answer, I'm gonna put it up I'm gonna add it to the board, and we are going to fill out the crossword that way. So yeah, so let's get right to it, because I know that it's a little bit late, and I have something scheduled immediately after this as well too, so I have a lot going on today. So yeah, so let's go right straight to it. I did check this crossword out earlier today. Should be all right. I think we'll be able to like figure it out together. There's nothing too crazy on here. Yeah, so let's get right to it. So we have something Vegas and espresso order. Okay, so espresso coffee, right? Kind of coffee. Second here, I'm like fiddling with my all my screens because I'm not quite set up. Okay, fiddling with my setup. Anyways, espresso. Yeah, something that you would get at a cafe, right? Just so we're all on the same page. It's kind of like a very, it's like a coffee, but it's very, concentrated is what we would say. There's a high concentration of something. There's a lot of something sort of packed into a very small thing. So a highly concentrated thing of coffee. And we would use this to make a type of a drink. To make the answer to this, basically a type of coffee made with espresso and a lot of milk. So if you think you know what that is, put it in the chat. I'm gonna get a little getting a little image of what I mean here. Here we go. We can see this drink here, what it might look like potentially. So type of coffee, a lot of milk. I will give you a hint. It starts with an L. Starts with an L. Starts with an L. And two, if you happen to know what this one is, this place name, something Vegas. So I will accept either of these answers right now. You want to put it in the chat? Just let me know. So I think this type of coffee, the name of it kind of comes from the fact that there is a lot of milk in it. This is a latte, actually. And I know in several different Romance languages, the word for milk is kind of similar to this. So I think that's why we call it a latte. But a latte, a type of coffee typically made with espresso and a lot of milk. Very popular. It's a very popular drink, at least over here. Let me know if it is a popular thing to drink where you are. I also know in some countries, they will only drink lattes during certain parts of the day, like in the morning, and then it's considered bad to drink latte in the afternoon, for example. They say it's bad for digestion. So let me know if there are have countries, what your country's opinion is on drinking lattes. When it is normal, when it is not. And I'm gonna sort of put this in here that this is Las Vegas. So there we go. Las Vegas. Yeah, it's from the boss. Alright, perfect place. Let's see what we can do here. So this plant pest. I'm talking about animals. A pest, basically, usually like an insect. Maybe like an insect or a small rodent that's kind of considered to be dirty and destructive. Destructive, usually to crops and things like that. Maybe they're dirty, for example. So for example, like mice could be considered a pest. Here though, I think we're looking for the name of an insect though. And I'm gonna get a little image of what these are. They're kind of these little green guys. Little green guys that are notorious for eating plant matter. I feel like, I mean, you might know the name of this, but kind of these little guys, these little green guys. These little guys. So if you happen to know what these are called, put it in the chat. I will give you a hint. It ends in a D. I'll put a D here if you happen to know. I feel like we might not know this one. But maybe. I mean, sometimes you guys surprise me. So. Let's see, maybe there's something else we can do here too. Maybe I shouldn't have started with this. Maybe I shouldn't have started with this little quadrant, but here we are. I'm just gonna put this in here. This is an aphid. And I know it has an F sound here, but it's actually spelled with a PH. A PHID. So aphids. An aphid is the name of this little creature. And if you... Aphids are typically considered bad for plants. They're considered to be a pest. Okay. Let's see what else we can do here. We have note from the boss. A clumsy one. I don't know about necessarily calling. I mean, I suppose, so somebody clumsy. Maybe a little bit someone who is clumsy, maybe is not very coordinated. Maybe they make a lot of silly mistakes. They just kind of do a lot of, let's say, dumb, sort of silly things. Maybe they're a bit awkward, for example. And we might, I mean, maybe we would call them this, but this word here, though, also, like, refers to maybe, like, maybe a type of monkey, almost. So we might say, call somebody who's clumsy also this name. So if you have an idea as to what that is, put it in the chat. Let me know. I mean, I definitely don't calling people names and things like that. But yeah, we might use this potentially as an insult, calling them essentially a very big monkey, essentially, right? A really large primate, basically. An ape, right? So, alright. I'm gonna put that in here. So we got an ape here. And what else? Departed takes turns antlered animal. This perfect place, I think this is actually, so something perfect, you know, is ideal, right? It is the best version of something, right? You know, it doesn't require any changes. And we want like the name of a place that might be considered very amazing, very perfect. I think this one, a very special, perfect place that they mentioned in the Bible. So if you know about the Bible, or maybe you're just aware of that, I guess we could call it mythology, biblical mythology. I'm calling it mythology. But some sort of special place that was mentioned in the Bible. In the very first book, right, where the first was Adam and Eve, where they were kicked out of this place. If you happen to know the name of this place, put it in the chat. Again, you are welcome to participate on YouTube, but I will also accept answers on Facebook and on Twitch as well. So we're a little bit quiet right now. So this is going to be the Garden of Eden. It's going to be our perfect place. The Garden of Eden. Alright, so the Garden of Eden is going to be our perfect place. I'm going to put that in here. And what else can we do here? Departed. We need the name of a book. And take turns. This is a funny one. I know what this one is. This isn't obvious. Let's talk about antlered animals, though. What are antlered? Weird word, but we can see the word antler in here. Antlered animal. So basically an animal with antlers. That is what we are talking about here. If you're wondering what antlers are, they are kind of like those big spiky, almost like horns. Almost similar to horns, but that deer might have. So these are antlers, for example. These antlers here. And only the male animals have antlers, right? So we are looking for the name, basically, of a male deer that has antlers. So if you think you know the name of a male deer that happens to have antlers, put it in the chat. Basically the opposite, the female is called a doe. And we're looking for the name of the male. So if you think you happen to know, I will give you a hint. It starts with an S because there are a couple different names for a male deer. We could also refer to a male deer with animals as a buck. That is another name for a male deer as well. But we are looking for something a little bit different. I was going to start with an S here. I'm going to give this like another minute or two. Again, don't be shy. I love when people participate. So this great little creature. This is called a stag. The stag here, name of a male deer that happens to have antlers. So I'm gonna put this right in there. And let's move on. May as well, I have no idea what this is. Story. Magnet. And yeah, let's talk about magnets, I guess. So magnets, they kind of have like it's like attracts, they sort of like, it has this magnetic sort of force that will attract like iron, steel, things like that, right? This is a magnet. Grab a little picture right here. So here we go. So we have this magnet, right? Object that is, you know, typically able to attract, iron and steel. And they typically have two ends. Magnets have two ends. Right? There's usually sort of like a north end and a south end, typically. So one will kind of draw things in, another might like push if you had two that are side by side. And we kind of have like a name for like a way that we would refer to the different ends of a magnet. Here we can see on this picture, right? South end, north end. So two ends, south end and north end. This word here, we also use. So we use this word when talking about the ends of a magnet. But we also use this word when talking about sort of like the extreme ends of the earth. I'm talking about the ends of the earth. So for example, right, there's like the north, whatever, and south, whatever, of the earth. Because, you know, the earth also has its own magnetic field as well, right? So we're kind of looking for that word. That word that we might use to talk about the ends of the earth, for example, that would have that magnetic, sort of that magnetic pool, right? Like that's why compasses work. It uses the natural magnetic pool of the earth to let us know the direction, right? And then we would also use that too for magnets. Pull. Welcome, Sword. Welcome. Exactly. Pull is going to be our words. So let's put pull in here. North Pole and South Pole. Thanks so much for putting that out there. I really appreciate that. Exactly. Pull is going to be our word. So great job. Excellent job. And let's do this one, because this is a funny little, this is kind of a clever little clue. A bit of a punny funny clue here. They say to take turns. Usually if you take turns, so usually to take turns means to, you know, maybe you like wait, you do something that you means to wait for someone else to do something and then do it yourself. Like there's sort of a back and forth, right? A back and forth between two people. You would take, you know, take turns having a conversation, for example. But here we're talking about turning like in a circle. Exactly. Spin here. I think spin is going to be our answer here, right? Exactly. To basically turn on an axis, right? To take turns. So that's pretty funny. So let's pop that in here. Take some turns. Super funny. All right, perfect. And now let's see if we can get this one. Actually, we have some info here too. Note from the boss. I think this is actually going to be a phrase here. As something, some sort of message your boss may give you. Oh my gosh, am I right? You are right. Yeah, you were right. That's a funny one though, eh? Like to take turns. But yeah, exactly. You were just guessing. No, that was a good one. Yeah, it's kind of a bit of a pun, a bit of a play on words there, but yeah, it is spin. So some sort of message that your boss may give you. So it looks like we have some sort of a verb. First word was a verb. There's a verb. Second word is a pronoun. That helps. And it's like an imperative. It's like an instruction. So some sort of instruction or some sort of order that your boss may give you. That's a little funny one. Because your boss is your superior, right? Right, they're the person that's going to be basically bossing you around, telling you what to do. This is 2 words, exactly. This is 2 words, a 2-word and a 2-word answer. So, something. 2 words. First word, sort of a bit of a verb. It's an imperative. That's why we don't have a subject. Because it's gonna be an order to you, basically, or an order to the employee, right? Probably going to tell you maybe to see me, right? Come meet me. I think that's what our word is going to be. I think see me, as in come meet me, is going to be our instruction. So there we go. CB. CB, I want to talk to you. Yeah, usually this is the kind of message I would dread getting from my boss, because it usually means not good things. What else can we do here though? Serve, okay. Serve, yeah, also not a bad guess. Alright. Yeah. So we're gonna stick with see me. Let's do this one. Departed. So departed here, right? So this is the past form. or past participle of to depart, right? Which basically means to leave, right? Right? So so we're looking for another word, another similar word, either the past verb, past form, or the past participle of another word we might use to say that somebody is no longer here. So past form or past participle to say that yes, somebody is no longer here. They're no longer in the current place. They were there and then they departed. They left. So the past form or the past participle of a verb to say that somebody is no longer here. See, I have an idea about what that one is. I'll give you another hint too, actually. This one, this last letter, it ends in a vowel. Because we need a vowel. Ends in a vowel. The verb is basically the opposite of to come. Alright? You come to a place and then you leave that place. If that helps, maybe. Maybe some tricky ones today. So I think the verb, I think the main verb here, I think is actually going to be, you know, to go, right? So I think we're looking for the past form of the word to go. So to go. So a little opportunity to test your knowledge of irregular past verbs. Let's see if an idea. So not menu. We're looking for a verb here. Definitely looking for a verb. Verb, almost like an adjective, because we would use this as an adjective to describe somebody who is no longer here. So let's think of our verbs, our verb form. So we have to go, right? That's gonna be like present or base form, right? We have went, right? Past form, to go, right? And then we have gone. I think that this word is gonna be gone. We're gonna put gone in here. All right. Gone here. So because if somebody is departed, if somebody has left, they are gone. Yeah. So exactly, gone. Exactly. That is what we were looking for. Perfect. Great job. Great job. So Yale rooter, we're not gonna know what that is. A rooter though is somebody who cheers, somebody who supports or is a fan of something. And Yale is a university, those Ivy League universities in the United States. But we're going to focus on this one, this little company symbol. Company symbol. A symbol that a company might use to advertise its products, basically. So we're looking for like a 4-letter word, for example. Maybe a design, maybe a symbol used by a company to describe its products. I'm gonna give you an example of one of these things, maybe. Maybe a bunch of them. Let's see what I can come up with. Here we go. Here are some different examples of whatever these things are called. All sorts of different symbols, different designs. Sometimes they incorporate the name of the company right into the little design. Sometimes not, right? Really depends. But yeah, looking for a name for these types of symbols. Logo, exactly. I think logo is going to be our answer here. So let's put logo right in here. Great job, by the way. You are on it. You're doing an amazing job. Super appreciate your help. So awesome. Okay, what else here? I don't know what that is yet. Sales. Conman's trick, soda choice. Let's do this one. Let's see if we can do this one. So if you are in sales, yeah, that's great. Yeah, it's really awesome that you got that one. So if you work in sales, you're always trying to like sell things, right? A sales talk. I think here we mean like a sales talk. We mean like some sort of a presentation you'd give. Because sometimes we could say a talk is a presentation, right? You can say to give a talk about something. Basically means to give a presentation about something. So here, I think here the sales talk is going to be a presentation you would give to sell a product. So a sales, another kind of a marketing term here. It's a marketing term, but we might also use this word too, because this is a noun, right? But we could also use this as a verb, right? We would also say to an idea as well, we could say. But yeah, we're looking for sort of like a presentation, sort of a formal presentation you might make, basically to persuade somebody to buy something. To persuade others to buy something, basically. I'll give you a little bit of a hint here. There is a P in this word. I'll give you the first letter for our word for here. Yes. So let's see. Yeah. Got it. Do you know what it is? Pitch. Exactly. Sales pitch. Perfect. Exactly. So sales pitch. And like I said too, we could also pitch an idea. We could use it as a verb as well too. To pitch an idea. Great little conversation. Collocation. Ugh. Pitch an idea. Perfect. Yes. Great. Let's see, what else do we have here? Historic cold periods. This one here, this bud here. Bud is a bud. Just why your answer is correct. Well, because I give good clues and you give good guesses. So that is why. That is why we are figuring these out together. So you're doing great. So a bud, a very informal synonym for friend. Similarly, we're looking for another informal synonym for friend. See if we know what this one is. Pal, exactly. Awesome, awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Art Graphic Design. Really appreciate you putting that into the chat. So we got a pal. Alright, cool. Got a pal. Futurama character. I don't really focus a lot on the trivia, but if you happen to know the name of this Futurama character, put it in the chat. So if you happen to know, put it in the chat. Pal. So pal is just another informal synonym for friend. It's like, you know, this is my pal. This is my pal Mark, for example. Which basically says this is my friend Mark. So just another word for friend or bud as well too. Super informal. Yeah, so if you know this one, let me know. We're gonna do this one, I think. Historic cold periods. So we have an S here. I'm just gonna put an S in here. Two across. Oh, that's fun. Okay, nice. Alright, cool. Yeah, let's do that one. Yeah, I didn't know this one. I knew this one. I could get this one. Alright. Yeah, let's see what else here. Yeah, if you happen to know this one, put this one in the chat. Yeah, this one here, these cold periods. Ice ages. Nice. I didn't even have to describe it. Yeah, exactly. Ice ages. Put ice ages in here. Trojan War hero. If you happen to know this one too, put it in the chat. And in the meantime, let's see what else we can do here. Oh, let's do this one. So Gesundheit is something that you would say after somebody does a very specific thing. You would say this. You would say after somebody sneezes. Exactly. And then if we were to say what that sound is in English, it would be achoo. Achoo, exactly. The sound for a sneeze. So let's pop that right in there. What else do we have here? Soda choice. So soda, another word for a soft drink, right? Or a carbonated beverage, right? Beverage has like lots of like the little bubbles. Okay, something is carbonated. You could also call this a soft drink. I think we are looking for the name of a type. The name of a type of carbonated drink, basically. So Coca-Cola, exactly. Cola is going to be our word here. So cola, describing that type of drink like Coca-Cola or Pepsi would make. All right, so let's put cola in here. Let's see what else we can get here. I think we can get this here. Cola, my bad, yeah, no worries. I think we can get this here, this con man's trick. A con man is somebody who wants to deceive you, right? So to con someone means to deceive them, right? Or take advantage of them, right? And 17 is Ajax, you are right. So, okay, cool. So now we got more info, actually. That is really helpful. So basically looking for another name, basically. Another word for, basically, another word for, basically con or trick, really. You would trick somebody, right? So basically to deceive somebody. Deceive them. Hoax, exactly. Yeah, so this one's gonna be hoax. So let's put that in here. So basically, yeah, like a plan to deceive. You know, plan to deceive someone, such as telling the police there's a bomb. There isn't one. You know. All right. We're so on the ball today, which is really great. Yeah, let's do this one. This track shape. Track shape. So the track here, this is a place where you might go running, or maybe you would, like a race track. Or like a racetrack, right? So a racetrack, and it kind of has this very specific shape, right? And I think we're looking for the name of this shape. Here we go. Here's a picture, kind of this sort of this round sort of shape here. Oval, exactly. So track might be typically oval. So kind of like a circle, but squished a little bit. So let's pop that in here. All right. So let's try it. We're gonna stick with me. We're gonna stick with me. We're not gonna like throw in all the answers all at once. So I really appreciate that. I think so. So I'm gonna put this in here though. You're right, because I did ask for this one. If anybody knew what this one is. So that's perfect. Yeah. So Leela. But we're gonna try to follow me. And kind of go through this together. So it's not chaos. I don't want to limit the chaos. But I appreciate you thinking ahead though. Definitely. Definitely. So egg-like shape. Exactly, yeah. An oval has an egg-like shape. Exactly. Where it's kind of like longer on one side, thinner on the other side. Let's see what we can do here though. Lane 1. I don't know. Let's see here. Almost Hardy. Small fastener. Right. Okay. So, okay. Yeah. So, right. So can, right. Abbreviated version for Canada, right? And like you said, it is USA. Okay. So let's pop that in here. Pop this in here. But let's see what else we could do here. The small fastener though. This little small fastener. A fastener, so to fasten something means to basically like attach something to something else. Attach something to something else. So so these like little kind of like these little clips, right? Basically that we would use to maybe close something. Let's see here. Kind of thinking like trying to get like a picture of what I need. kind of like these guys that we would use. Yeah, basically to maybe like for buttons or something like that. Snap, exactly. This is a snap, this little fastener. The thing that we used to attach something to something else. And these are called snaps, exactly. So that is a snap, as opposed to a button. That's like a slightly different type of a fastener. But yeah, let's pop snap in there. All right. What else do we have here? One. Dun, dun. Let's go. I'm going to have to study. We'll join you live next time. All right. Have a good one. Good luck with your studying. Really appreciate your help here. Definitely appreciate it. Let's go down here, actually. I want to go down here. Right at the bottom here. This June honoree. Honoree. We can see the word honor in here, right? Honor. And if we to honor somebody, you kind of pay tribute to them. And there's a person in particular, I don't know if this is worldwide, but in June there is a parental figure that we pay honor to. One of our parents. So we'll get to 42 in a minute or two. I just need to make sure that we are going along with how I'm going, so that we are all sort of on the same page. So 41 is going to be dad, exactly, because it's Father's Day, right? So I'm gonna like put that right in here. We got our June honoree, our Father's Day. I'm interested to know, is Father's Day in June in your country? Because I think in some parts of the world, Father's Day happens in a different month. I could be wrong though. I know that's true for Mother's Day. Seems that Mother's Day happens in different months. Depending, like, in different parts of the world. But anyways, let me know. Let me know. Parliament members. Site. So Sow here, right? Site, like a location. And a sow is a female pig, basically. So sow, the name of a female pig is a sow. I know the pronunciation of that is a little bit weird because sometimes this word is pronounced like so, right? So with like a needle and thread, but here, sow, name of a female pig, same spelling. But basically a place where a pig, or a place where you would find a pig. So a place where we're going to find a pig, basically, on a farm, or maybe in a barn. The place where we found a pig. I know you already said it. I just need us all to stay together. I just totally need us all like be on the same page so this activity is not chaos, basically. But a place you would find a pig, a very messy place, is called a sty. And we might also use this word. We may also use this word to just refer to messy places. Like, for example, you could say that if somebody has a really messy room, you could say it's a sty. So, for example, a messy room. So that could definitely be something. But yeah, let's put that in here. Let's put sty in here. What else we can do here? So, worried, run down, pest. Let's do this one, I think. Name of an insect. Looking for the name of an insect. So again, like a pest, either like an insect or a small mammal, maybe something that is considered usually like problematic. Maybe they're destructive, maybe really dirty, things like that, right? Looking for the name of an insect. So the name of an insect that you may find in the kitchen around food. So little teeny tiny guys. Super teeny tiny guys. I think it is an ant, exactly. And I'm just gonna get a picture of an ant just so we are all on the same page. We definitely don't want ants in the kitchen. But they're always looking for food, right? Looking for food to bring back to the nest. They live in a nest, typically in an ant hill. So let's put that there. And yeah, I just started to like think here, like what else we can get here. Another insect one, actually. Lots of insects in here, I guess, today. A hornet is another insect. Similar to a bee. Here is a hornet. One of these guys. And a kin, something that is kin to something else. Is related to it. So we're looking for another insect similar to a hornet with a P. Exactly. I think wasp is going to be our answer here. One of these guys. They're all kind of look very similar, don't they? But a wasp. Notorious for stinging and things like that. A lot of people are kind of afraid of them. There we go. Wasp. Cool. And now that we have a little bit of info for this one, I think we might be able to get this one. So pend is kind of a weird word. Not a very common word. This is a very formal word. But we can see the word pen in here. So some sort of activity that you would do with a pen. Basically, so, you know, for doing written communications, right? So I think we are looking for another word, another verb. Similar to this, and again, like a past verb or a participle. Some sort of activity you would do with a pen. Activity you would do with a pen. So some sort of activity that you would do with a pen. And we are going to stay with me. We are not going to jump ahead. I'm not even going to acknowledge. I'm not going to acknowledge things that I see that are ahead. So, just to let you know, we are working on 33 now. I guess maybe I could say that. I could announce that we are doing 33. But yeah, some sort of word activity we would do with a pen is going to be wrote. Exactly. So past form as opposed to the past participle, which is going to be written, right? But exactly. And just so we're covering all three, right, it's just like the main verb there. All right, so wrote. Perfect though. Got that there. And this one. Yeah, something pucker. So a pucker is sort of like a thing you would do with your face, almost like your lips or something. I'm gonna get a picture of like what that is, maybe. If I can find a decent picture. Here we go. Kind of like what this person is doing. This sort of thing, like, so they ate something incredibly sour, maybe, and it's caused their sort of like their cheeks and everything like that to contract. So this is a pucker. So it's pucker inducing. So something that induces something else causes something to happen. All right, so we're looking for something, some sort of kind of a flavor word, basically. Like a flavor that would cause someone to make this face, basically, is what we are looking for. So maybe something really like sharp, for example, or sour, for example, something like that. Something like that. So yeah, something very like tasting very sour or acidic. It's gonna be tart. Exactly. So let's put tart in here. All right. Actually, you know what would be really helpful? Do you know the name of this album? I know the name of this album. This U2 album. I think this was their most... Was this their biggest one? I mean, I'm not a huge U2 fan. But I know this album. Like, because that would be great. If we could just, like, get this album out there. Definitely starts with 3 words. And we are not rushing ahead. If you happen to know what that is, though, that would definitely help us here. If you happen to know what that one is, and then this one here too, I think. So not a super common word, but if something is like, yeah, really run down, like what do we mean by that? Maybe there's like, it's very kind of very dirty. something run down. It's very dirty, maybe like very like maybe it looks like it's gonna fall apart. And there's kind of like this, I feel like this word is not super common. But something, yeah, very dirty, very in bad condition. But I would also use this actually to refer to maybe like some sort of situation or something that seems like kind of sketchy, a little dishonest, things like that. Seedy, exactly. It's gonna be our word. Yeah. Are you a native English speaker? I'm like just curious. Cause we're like I'm intending to do this activity with people who are learning English, actually. So, this one here, worried. I'm never gonna necessarily know this one. Possibly this one though. Here I think like British Parliament. British Parliament. So I think British Parliament members, there's sort of like a very specific very sort of like a kind of a name that they might use. Parliament being like a sort of like place where government happens, essentially, right? And the pronunciation of this word is a little bit interesting, right? It's parliament, even though I know there's that I in there. But yeah, so a word to refer to members of British Parliament, basically, that we might use. It's gonna be lords, exactly. Let's put lords in here. We don't use this in Canada, but definitely British Parliament. I think that's what this is gonna be. Who are? All right. Okay. This little woeful cry. So, I wouldn't say this very often. I feel like I only, but something woeful, if you were woeful about something, you're maybe like upset or you're kind of sad. Kind of like sad or upset, or maybe kind of like longing about something, or like to express disappointment. Also that, maybe something like that. So we're kind of like just like looking for like a little my lord, you're amazing. Alas, I think is going to be our cry. Alas. People don't say that though. I would never say that. But let's pop that in here. And finally here too, yeah, this worried thing here. Right, so so if you're worried about something, you're like maybe thinking about something, and not in a good way, right? And again, this is like a past, right? This is like the past, or like the adjective. So again, I think phrasal verb. We're looking for a phrasal verb here. Basically, you know, it hurts you a lot, basically. You think about it over and over and over again. Do people use this word? Yeah, people don't use alas in their daily life. Yeah. Yeah, don't use alas. I would never use that. I like some people might use it, maybe sarcastically, maybe something like that, but people, yeah. It's definitely not something that people would really use. I definitely don't recommend using it. I would only use it if I'm like kind of being sarcastic or want to be overly dramatic or something. But I wouldn't use it. Yeah, so if something really worried you a lot, it's kind of like something you're like thinking about it over and over and over again. We might say that it ate at you. So if something eats at you, it kind of like you ruminate about it, think about it. That means to think about something over and over and over again. So ate at, let's pop that in there. All right. Oh, what else could we get done? Dun, dun, dun. Band boosters. To boost something means to make something kind of bigger, right? Maybe. So so here I think we're talking about something you would use to boost a noise. And we have an S here, so we have I'm gonna pop that in here. So things you use to make basically sounds louder. Basically a band would use, right? So I think amps here. I'm gonna pop that in here. Perfect. Let's put that in here. Yeah, let's do this one. If you're against something, basically the opposite of being for something, right? This is a very common, almost like a common, it's like a common prefix that indicates you are against something. So you are not for something. Yeah, I think anti or anti, depending on your pronunciation. In here. Put that in here. What else do we have here? Synonym for permit. Permit, and not permit, because permit is something else. Permit is the noun. A little piece of paper that says you can do something. So permit, accent here, the noun, a little piece of paper that says you can do something, like a parking permit, for example. But here, to permit something to happen. With the accent here, we're looking for a verb, we're looking for a synonym or this. And I can't spell. To something happen. For example, so you permit something to happen. You allow something to happen. For example, she's an anti-fan. Yeah, you can be like, anti. I'm not having a good job thinking about good examples right now. But yeah, you're anti something. You're typically opposed to something. Like you'd be like anti big corporations. Anyways, yes, we're gonna let something happen. I'm gonna put that here. Gonna let something happen. Oh, let's do this one. I think we could kick this one. If you have faith in something, you it's almost like you know it will happen without necessarily really knowing it will happen. So this is like gonna be a verb. To have faith in something. You know it is maybe true without proof, maybe. You do it by your gut. You have like this instinct, right? Looking for a word like that. You know what is true without proof. Hard to describe this one without actually saying. Without actually saying what it is. So you basically think that something is true. Basically. So some sort of word. Let's think about that. So I'm gonna put, starts with a B. I'm gonna put a B here. I'm gonna put a B here. Art, I'm not a fan of you jumping ahead. So I'm just gonna let you know. I'm not a fan of you rushing ahead and throwing out answers to questions that we haven't talked about yet. So I haven't banned anybody from this game yet, but I'm going to find out how. You're prompting me to want to learn. So just let you know, we're gonna stick with me. We're gonna stick with what I'm saying. We're gonna play the game together. We are going to be patient. In theory, we're gonna learn things along the way. Please believe is going to be our answer. Put believe in here. Put believe in here. Get that out there. And an army bigwig. Somebody who is a bigwig is somebody who's extremely important. Yeah, a bigwig. Someone extremely Important. So we're basically looking for the name of somebody extremely important in the military. Someone who's very, very high in rank. Basically, so the army, the military. Somebody basically who like leads a bunch of like troops and stuff like that. General, exactly. So let's pop general in here. I'm gonna put this in here. General in here. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Yeah, our suspect's story. So if you are a suspect with the accent here is suspected or basically accused of doing a crime. Suspected, accent there. Accused of doing a crime, basically, and they might have a little story. We're looking for a story, basically, things that they would say that basically said that they did not do the thing, right? So a story, a criminal may tell to say that they were not at the scene of a crime, for example. So A-L, something, E, something. Put that there. All right. Oh my gosh, and now I think this is going crazy. Okay, anyways. Anyone wants to say what this is? Let me know. Our little suspect's story. Sword, I don't know if you're still here. I don't know if you're still here, but little tale, something that a criminal might say. Basically, almost like a liar or something. Like their cover story, right? A cover story. Probably gonna be an alibi. An alibi. I'm gonna put alibi in here. Alright. Alibi. Got that there. What else we got going on here? So irritate. To irritate someone. Basically means to annoy someone. So we're gonna irritate someone, we're gonna annoy someone. We're gonna do things to intentionally bother them, maybe. Intentionally piss them off, for example. Annoy someone, yeah. Do things. Possibly. So do things that piss someone off. Some slang there for you. But we're looking for like another word that also means to basically annoy somebody. So, and I would kind of use this to like To peeve. Exactly. Yeah. I'm gonna put this in a sentence because I feel like some people may not know this one, but yeah, like to peeve. For example, oh. Yeah, it peeves me that she didn't bother to phone, so it annoys me that she didn't bother to phone. And there's actually a pet peeve. Also, pet peeve is also kind of like little small things that might annoy you. So for example, some people like, you know, a pet peeve of mine is people talking on their cell phones on the bus or something like that, or like nails on the chalkboard or something, like little things that people do that kind of annoy you. Those would be pet peeves. So that's kind of a great little word here. So let's put that in here. Put that in here. And some wintry weather. Not quite snow, not quite rain. So, but this is a type of precipitation. Type of precipitation that happens during the winter. Not quite snow, not quite rain, but it's not very pleasant. That is for sure. It's almost like freezing rain. It's not like partially frozen snow. So not super great. Exactly, some sleet here. And I'm just trying to like get a picture of maybe some of the differences, because I feel like it may not be, because it's kind of similar to hail, which is another sort of form of precipitation. But hail are these sort of like these round ice pellets that fall from the sky, whereas sleet is more just like this weird like liquid, like it's not quite snow, it's not quite ice, but really unpleasant, not great at all. So let's put sleet in here. Put some sleet in here. And I wonder, I don't know, this is like a type of mushroom. Aren't these really expensive? They're like these guys, eh? I think they're really expensive. But, oh. Basically these guys, kind of a very like, they're kind of like hard to find. Not entirely sure. But this type of mushroom, definitely an O in it. There's an O in it. We're very close. Very close. Yeah, I always hear like them talking about this on like cooking shows or whatever like that, because I guess they're pretty highly prized. Highly prized edible mushroom. Something edible is something that we can eat. As opposed to poisonous mushrooms. Anyways, these are called morels. This is a morel. Put that in here. A morel. here, something shocking, probably something really terrible. I think we are looking for an adjective. An adjective we'd use to describe maybe a shockingly bad situation, or it's really bad. Very serious, very extreme situation. Describe as extreme or very serious situation. Exactly. Dire. Something dire. Extremely serious. And there's like a collocation that we use this word in, actually, which is kind of great to know. We might say that people or something is in dire need as something, as in they're in super serious need of help, for example. So that is a great collocation. That great, yeah, collocation, like how we would say that, use that. I'm gonna put that in there. Secluded spot. It's kind of a little secluded spot in the is it kind of like in the mountains? I think. I always think of maybe the forest, but a secluded spot in the mountains. What a valley. I mean, maybe. I guess it's kind of a valley. Or in the forest, too. At least I think so. We don't have mountains here. So I think of this as being in a forest. But yeah, sort of like a very deep, narrow valley. Kind of hidden away. A glen, exactly. So glen, pop glen in here. All right, we're almost done, which is good because I gotta run. This is an I. Let's go pop that in there. Gets rid of. This is almost like to sell something off. This is a business term, actually. So to get rid of something means to like throw away something, right? Away, or you know, so you no longer have it, right? And this here, yeah, this is gonna be like a business term. A term used in business for basically selling, like selling off assets or something like that. You know, if you have like maybe sell things off or get rid of things that you have. Divests, exactly. We would divest. Almost like the opposite of invest, right? Where you're like are contributing money to something. Anyways, back here, if you have any guesses as to what this one is. If not, I'm gonna pop it in. Or actually, if you know what this is, I'm open to that as well. I know what this one is. So I will accept any of these answers, either this one or this one as well too, this Thomas Hardy heroine, if I guess as to what that is. And then we will be done, I think. This album is the Joshua Tree. So I know we don't do trivia. So that's that one. And last letter. Anybody has a guess? Or anybody has a guess? This kind of means very pale, I should say. It's like a color. Very, 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 very pale. Very pale. It's going to be ashen. Exactly. Let's pop that in there. All right. I think that should be it. We did it. All right. That was intense. So thank you so much for your help. I love when people are eager to play. Just a reminder next time to stick with me so we can all move together through this as a group so it doesn't devolve into chaos. I like order and structure, and I like to take my time doing things, so I really appreciate that. I love when people are patient. I love when people are eager and patient at the same time, I guess. That is how I feel. Anyways, I hope this was really enjoyable to you guys. I hope you guys maybe learned something. That would be really fantastic as well. I will be back next week at this time, Wednesday, whatever the date is. So next crossword stream will happen on Wednesday. So at, what is it, 1300 UTC, that is the time. So Wednesday and Thursday, or Wednesday and Friday, I'm expecting to do coffee and crossword streams. So definitely come back, definitely help. If you like this, feel free to give this little video a thumbs up. Feel free to subscribe to the channel. If you happen to be on Facebook, feel free to forward this video to your favorite English learning group and spread the word so we can get other players in here. It's always fun when we have a lot of people playing along, and I really enjoy it when I get a little help. So anyways, I hope you guys all have a really good weekend wherever you are, and I look forward to seeing you guys all next time on Wednesday. All right, anyways, have a good one, guys.